Hello and welcome to News Center. With me, Parikshit Luthra. India has signed a 63,000 crore rupee deal to buy 26 Rafale Marine Fighter Jets from France. The agreement includes 22 single-seater Rafale jets and 4 twin-seater trainers. Deliveries will begin in a few years and are expected to be completed by 2031. The Rafale Marine Jets will operate from INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, replacing the MiG-29K fleet. The deal comes at a time when India is facing increasing pressure from the Trump administration to purchase more military equipment from the US. The Defence Acquisition Committee has cleared proposals to acquire arms worth 54,000 crore rupees last month. To speak more about the Marine Rafale deal and India's defence procurement roadmap, we are now joined by Union Defence Secretary Rajesh Singh. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for joining us. Straight off, how will the acquisition of 26 Rafale Marine aircraft boost our maritime capability?
Parikshit, first of all, thank you, and I'm glad to join you today. Well, the Rafale Marine aircraft will first and foremost ensure that our two carriers are fully operated or provided with adequate numbers of fighter aircraft. As you know, this particular aircraft was chosen after a process where other options were also looked at, evaluated, and thereafter the best of the lot was picked. We expect this to significantly add to our maritime power projection capabilities and ensure also that the number of fighter aircraft within the Indian Navy get augmented. So all in all, this is going to add significantly to our ability to project power through the Navy across the Indian Ocean region. And we hope that this is going to ensure that our carrier battle groups get fully operational and make it really create an impact in the entire Indian Ocean region.
Right. The next question that we would like to ask you, that how will the Indian defense supply chain benefit from a deal of this kind? Because this is not just for acquiring 26 aircraft, but also for maintenance, repair, overall facilities, and also a facility for making fuselage as well in future.
Yeah, so the IGA, the Intergovernmental Agreement, under this deal involves setting up of a MRO facility in India, which would be completed in 5 years and would enable our Navy and Air Force fleets to undertake depot-level maintenance of the Rafale aircraft within India. Also, the indigenization plan will include manufacturing and assembling of front section, middle section, and aft section of the Rafale aircraft fuselages, setting up of a fully qualified supply chain so as to enable maintenance and repair of major Rafale sub-assemblies of radar and EW systems, and also setting up an MRO facility for depot-level maintenance of the M88 engine modules. Now, this is particularly important because this will be the first facility outside France which will meet the requirements of M88 engines worldwide. And in addition, we will also be providing MRO and midlife overhaul of Mika missiles in India. So all in all, a significant ecosystem will develop as part of this deal.
Right. To ask you about the fact that a production facility for the fuselage for maintenance, long-term maintenance is being set up, can we assume that India is now significantly considering induction of more Rafale aircraft into our forces, not just as Navy, but in the Air Force as well, considering that this is a platform that we already have, and we would like to build complementarities between the Navy and the Air Force, and there is now going to be a long-term contract for maintenance and manufacturing. Does this mean that India will be seriously looking at acquiring more Rafale aircraft?
I don't want to anticipate what is going to happen in the future. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, when we do any such procurement in the future, we'll be looking at all options, including Rafale. But no, I can't. It's a nice try by you, but I can't give you any answer right now as to what that eventual procurement decision will be.
Okay. What about the importance of defense PSUs or the involvement of Indian defense PSUs, defense manufacturers in this deal in the next 5 to 10 years, once the entire agreement is in place, when this manufacturing setup is in place, how will Indian defense suppliers benefit?
I don't think we are looking at it as necessarily beneficial only for the public sector. We expect a large number of Indian private players and industry partners to be part of this ecosystem as these MRO facilities, the fuselage, some parts of the fuselage being constructed in India. In each of these cases, we expect private Indian partners to benefit, and that ecosystem hopefully will ultimately lead to a growth of a proper public and private aeronautics industrial complex in the country.
Right. Now, to speak about the offer that has also come in, Mr. Singh, from the United States, and J.D. Vance just last week in Jaipur made this point that they would like to offer cutting-edge stealth F-35s to India. This is now the second time that the US has made this proposal in the last 3 months. Is the Indian government considering this? Are there any talks going on with the US government?
Short answer is not as yet. I don't think there's a concrete written proposal as yet. As and when it happens, of course, it will be looked at by the Air Force, which will look at the capabilities and take, advise the government. But as of now, it's not reached a stage where we can say that it is, being actually discussed in detail. Once a concrete proposal comes, we'll see.
Right. But does it in any way meet our needs, considering that we have Sukhois in our setup already? We are inducting Rafale fighters. Does it make sense to acquire American fighter jets?
We'll evaluate those options. I think there is a generational difference to some extent, but yeah, we'll evaluate those options. We'll be guided by the Air Force. But as I said, it's too premature to discuss it right now.
Right. Also to speak about the Defence Acquisition Council's approvals for 54,000 crore worth of capital acquisitions for the Navy, Air Force, Army. This has happened just last month, Mr. Singh. How will this add to the order pipeline for our defence industry?
You'll find that the bulk of that particular DAC that you're mentioning, involving 54,000 odd crores, almost 90% of that AONs related to procurement from indigenous sources. So therefore, these will, of course, augment the existing order book of our major defense industry players and overall support the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are, on the whole, as you would have noticed, we've earmarked 70% of our capital modernization budget for the domestic industry. That the actual figure will probably be exceeding that figure. So yes, in the last 2 years, if you see the total AONs that have been accorded, about 6.6 lakh crores of them, about 83% of this has been directed at and will be earmarked for indigenous sources. So yeah, the journey towards Atmanirbharta is very much on and going well.
Rajnath Singh, the Defence Minister, had called 2025 the year of reforms. The government had recently approved guidelines for shorter defence procurement processes. What can we expect on this in the next few weeks, and what is the aim?
So we've identified that there are various sort of processes involved in our procurement, which include everything from cost negotiations to field evaluation trials to preparation of RFPs. All of these had certain timelines that were often very, very elongated. We've, through the DAC, we've already taken a view that many of these timelines are going to be compressed. Essentially, what we are trying to do is ensure and accept higher accountability within our system for the various collegiates and groups which are, for example, doing the FATs or doing the RFPs. As part of that, the DAC has already taken a decision in terms of compressing many of those timelines so that we take several weeks out of this procurement process. At a broader level, as far as the DAP 20 is concerned, there could be some changes required in some of the procedures themselves. For that, we've set up a committee under the DG Acquisition. The intent is to finalize the updation and amendment of that DAP 2020 document in the next 6 months. So we are doing two things together. Short term, we are compressing timelines for some of the processes that are part of the procurement procedures to in terms of amending the procedures themselves, we are looking at a committee which will talk to all stakeholders, including the private sector, public sector, other stakeholders, and then take a call on modifying and amending that procedure to in tune with current requirements.
Right. Minister Rajnath Singh has said that manufacturing Aero engines is going to be a priority area for the government. Could you give us a sense of what the government is going to do in this aspect?
Well, I think you will be aware that there are two sort of parallel tracks here. One is that the technology transfer for the General Electric 414 engine, that is a negotiation that is ongoing between the HAL from our side and GE on the other. That is making progress, and that will help us meet the requirement of a jet engine for the time being in the interim. In the long term, in order to obtain strategic autonomy, we need to have our own full IPR, Indian IPR-based jet engine. For that, we are in touch with certain engine houses. We will be taking a call on that also, and that will involve a national mission, but that is something that is further down the line. We are still working on some of the proposals that have come, and once we take a call, of course, the press will come to know.
Right. Just on the F414 engines, there have been talks on price negotiations which have been ongoing for some time now. Could you give us a status right now, Mr. Singh? Do you feel that those talks will conclude and we could possibly see a manufacturing line coming up this year?
This year, I hope so. This is being led by HAL. We don't get into the nitty-gritty of that negotiation, but on our part, we've been asking both players, GE as well as HAL, to try and expedite this so that our production schedule for the future Tejas, I think it's Mark II, doesn't get affected. So yes, that is something that we are nudging from our side, but the nitty-gritty of the negotiations we are leaving to these two agencies.
Right. On integration and facilitation of integrated theatre commands, that was also one of the reform areas mentioned by the Defence Minister. Any announcement that we can expect on this?
I would not be able to tell you. This is something led by the Chief of Defence Staff, but I do know that they are working closely on creating greater jointness in terms of various elements of the work that the services do that overlap with each other, whether it is logistics, whether it is procurements. On all of that, he's been working on a process of improving the jointness among the three services. I'm sure that is making good progress. Whether any announcements are on the anvil, that I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Right. Could you give us a sense of the push of the government in terms of more acquisitions, more orders this year? We recently also saw the government clearing a deal for the acquisition of P-75 submarines, and this is going to be given to Mazgaon Dock Limited and Thyssen Group. Could you give us a sense of what will be the major push areas for the government this year in terms of further acquisitions and indigenization?
I think the case that you mentioned is still not final yet. That's still sort of in the works only. But and I don't want to talk again about specific procurement so much, but I do want to give you a sense that of the speed at which we are working. You'll find that in the last financial year, we signed up contracts of about 2,09,000 crores. That was almost double the maximum that we've ever done before that. I think in 23-24, we hit about 1 lakh crores. So the speed is, should be obvious that we are moving fast in terms of ensuring that contracts get finalized quickly. Visibility is created across the defense ecosystem about the kind of orders that are available so that the vendors down the line, the tier 2, tier 1 vendors, all of them are aware of what are the procurements happening. They start working accordingly. So in that sense, a lot is being done in terms of ensuring that, one, we utilize the fiscal envelope that the government makes available to us through budgetary outlays. We don't allow surrenders to happen, particularly from our capex budget. And two, we ensure that maximum contracts get finalized early, because until you finalize contracts, you will not, be able to fill up the capability gaps that exist. Although to a great extent, are in the recent past, we have tried to fulfill fill most of these capability voids that existed.
Right. Mr. Singh, my final question would be on the fallout of the Pahalgam attack. What's your reading of the situation at present, and how will India now prepare itself to deal with this situation, Pakistan-sponsored terror in the long term?
I think the Honorable Prime Minister has spoken for the nation on this. I don't have anything further to add. In any case, these are not things that we'll discuss in advance. But yes, our job is to ensure that our services are capable and equipped to take care of any eventualities, and we are intent on ensuring that.
All right. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for giving us a complete picture of India's defense acquisition process and the speed at which things are going, and the importance of Rafale Marine aircraft and the entire government-to-government contract in the scheme of things as well. We're going to take a short break at this point, but don't go anywhere. We shift the spotlight on the counter-terror operations underway across Jammu and Kashmir, a discussion with Army veteran Major General Yash Moore on the other side.